Greetings once again, my fellow Star Trek fans. I hope you're doing well. I hope your Christmas season is going well. Here in New England, last night we got our first snowfall. It was just like a sugar coating, and it's not going to last because tomorrow it's going to be in the 50s, and then Saturday in the 60s. But anyway, we got our first taste of snow here in New England. I got something to share with you. We finally, well, I don't say finally because it came in quickly this time. We've got shipment number 13 of the Eaglemoss, build U.S.S. Enterprise D. So without further ado, let's take it over to the desk and we'll open up the box and see what we got. All right, let's get this open. Okay, so we've got the packing slip. I'll show you guys. This is going to be the build packages 47, 48, 49, and 50. Nice, we didn't get an invoice in the last shipment, in shipment 12. So let's put some of the packing paper aside and let's see what we got. All right, this is parts pack 50. Let's see what we got. I'm going to give you a quick preview of everything that's in the packages, and then of course I'll take everything out and we'll go through it. This is another part of the saucer section, and you can see where the impulse engine is going to go. Let's see, we got '49, windows, and another part of the saucer section. Another part of the saucer section. So this package should really put a lot of it together. And this looks like this is going to go on the other side of the inside of the nacelle. We've got escape pods, and we got a metal piece of the saucer section. And lastly, yep, we got another piece of the saucer section. This is 47. Again, these plastic pieces. It'll be interesting to see what those are before. Got lights, and we've got a section of the hull. And we've got magazine issue number 13. So that's everything that's in the box for shipment number 13. So let's go over one of my favorite parts, the magazine with the little tidbits from the series. You can see this is number 13, and we've got in this issue going through the episode guides. It's always fun, at least I think so. Okay, let's go through the parts list. We've got stage 47. You can see the piece of the saucer section. We've got a deck panel, clear window, dark window, warp engine field grill left, and a warp engine field grill left reflector 4 and reflector 3. So that's pretty cool. Okay, stage 48. You can see a piece of the hull and two of the reflective backings. We've got the escape pods, and we've got the reflector panel on the bottom. Two of those. Stage 49 brings us to another piece of the saucer section, and the dark panel lights, the clear window, the escape pod cover, and the reflector panels. And stage 50 parts list. Be interesting to see what those parts are right there. escape pod cover, warp engine field grill, the reflector panel, clear window, dark windows. Okay, so we move on to the assembly. Stage 47 assembly. Fit a different kind of reflector to your warp nacelle build and connect a further bank of lights to your upper saucer assembly. It shows you where you're going to be working, or the parts that are going to be on the model, the areas. And remember, red is used for screws, direction arrows, and connection points. Yellow is for the new parts in each step. Gray shows the assembly so far, and blue shows the illuminated parts. So go into step A, take the warp engine field grill, and that looks pretty straightforward. And we got a clear sticker, and that's going to go into just behind the nacelle, the Bassard collector. Nice. Moving on to step B, we have, the completion of another saucer section. And this one is going to be metal. You can tell just by looking at it. You can see where it's going to go. And we're going to test it, and we're going to put it into the circuit board. That's always fun. And I love the fact that we can test the whole saucer section now. And that was short. So now moving on to stage 48 assembly. Install deck panels on two sides of your saucer module and continue to fit reflectors in your port side warp nacelle. You can see part A, and I can tell this part is metal as well because of the tabs, with windows and escape pods, and you can see where it's going to be affected. And this is a pretty straightforward section, and we get to test the lights. It's always fun. Moving on, we're going to install them. Threading the lights through the frame, as we've been doing up until this point. We're going to hold it in place with BM screws, and then we're going to put it into the circuit board. Before plugging cables into any of the PCBs, always check that the pins in the sockets are aligned with the pinholes in the plugs. Forcing a plug into the socket with misaligned pins could damage both parts and stop the lights from working. And that would not be a good thing. And it looks like we have a part from a previous build section. Retrieve the saucer deck panel you assembled in stage 36. And if you guys remember, that's metal. Thread the deck panel lights in, and we're going to attach it with BM screws. Moving on to step D, we've got the slot warp engine field grill right reflector inside warp engine field grill right reflector 1, like we did last time. And that's actually where we left off in the last build in shipment number 12. So moving on to stage 49 assembly. The short stage of the assembly readies another deck panel for fitting and balances out reflectors in your warp nacelle build. You can see what's going to be affected right there and in the nacelle behind the Bassard collector. So part A, or step A, again, we take the warp reflectors, we tape them or use their sticker, and we put them into the nacelle, and this one's going to be on the other side. Moving over to step B, we've got another, and I can tell that this one's going to be plastic now. You put in the escape pods, the windows, and we put on the backing and the lights. BP screws hold the backing on, and then we're going to test it. Wow, that was it. Okay, now moving on to stage 50. Another short stage in which a deck panel is assembled and the final warp engine field grill reflector is added to your port side warp nacelle. You can see the areas. This is going to be where the, let's see, it looks like the port impulse engine on the top of the saucer section. And it looks like in the back of the nacelle. Throughout the build, you may find it easier to place the small window pieces in the deck panels using tweezers rather than just your fingers. Work with the deck panels a slight angle, but remember not to turn it over until the windows are fixed in place and the reflector panel is in. Of course, that's what I've been doing. So going to step A, now we see what that's for. The warp engine field grill for the back. You can see how we put it in. Nice. Okay, moving over to step B. We got more of the escape pods that go in that section, and I think that section is plastic as well. We put on the backing with the light in it, and of course we put one light in, the other one stays out. And we have the testing part. Fun. And that's it. That's all the build steps. So we move on to one of my favorite parts of the magazine, the Enterprise from Star Trek, Star Trek The Next Generation episode guide. This is episode 3.9, and this one was really, I love this one. The Vengeance Factor. During a mission to reconcile the nomadic gatherers with the world they had left 100 years ago, Riker falls in love with a woman on a secret and deadly mission of revenge. And it's so sad because she was really cute, and she just wanted revenge. She was the last in her clan, and you guys remember she had to go after the Gatherer, and he was next on her hit list, and I think he was the last one that she had to fulfill. But unfortunately, Commander Riker ends up shooting her. He does try to stun her, but she just keeps going at him, and he has to kill her, which is a shame. You can see the first one in the episode that she kills. Mark Lawrence, Volnuth, or Vanoth, would later play a holographic gangster in Deep Space Nine. And I like that they put in the quotes, "I am the last of my line, but my clan will outlive yours. Utah to Volnoth." You can see Commander Riker. Jonathan Frakes with Lisa Wilcox posed for a promotional photo in the break from filming Utah's demise. Lisa Wilcox, that name sounds familiar. Is she in any other Star Trek? If I find it, I'll put it up. But Lisa Wilcox, that name sounds familiar. Anyway, this is one of my favorite episodes. Okay, moving on to another one of my favorite episodes. I think it's safe to say they're just about all my favorite. This is The Defector, and this was cool. I like this one a lot. This is episode 3.10, and this premiered January 1st of 1990. When a Romulan defector brings explosive news of a Romulan plot against the Federation, Captain Picard must weigh in the truth of his words against the risk of starting a war. You can see the two Romulan warbirds. And I think this is the small scout ship that crosses the neutral zone at the beginning of the episode. Let's see, we got in the first two appearances as a Starfleet Vice Admiral, John Hancock debuts a third iteration of the Next Generation flag officer's uniform. And we got the defector right there. James Sloyan. Later Star Trek appearances include a recurring role as Odo's father, Dr. Maura Paul, in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I think Odo is one of my favorite characters on Deep Space Nine. I think he's pretty cool. I'm not crazy about that series. It's probably my least favorite series, but it's still all right. I like that they have Mr. Worf with the Klingon. I love my favorite parts are the Klingon parts. In the war with the Dominion and with the Klingon Empire. On the bottom, you can see senior illustrator Rick Sternbach intended the Romulan scout ship to be capable of atmospheric flight and took design inspiration from real-world aircraft right down to the English language. No step warning is shown here on the wings. That's pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. What do we got next? We've got more. Kenneth Bragan's Henry V, 1989 informed Robert Blackman's costume designs for the pre-credit sequence. Mr. Data. You guys remember they were doing their little holodeck. I believe it was at the beginning of the episode, the little holodeck acting out that they had done. Now, if these men do not die well, it will be a black matter for the king that led them to it. Jean-Luc Picard quotes Michael Williams in Shakespeare's Henry V. You can see Picard. Looks pretty amusing with hair. Patrick Stewart is a holodeck representation of Michael Williams from Shakespeare's Henry V. Next episode we've got is The Hunted. And this episode is episode 3.11 and premiered January 8th of 1990. An escaped Ngosian prisoner was decorated former soldier causes havoc on the Enterprise, shedding light on Agnos's ill treatment of its war veterans. You can see James Cromwell. Other Star Trek appearances include an uncredited cameo in Enterprise. Let's see. The main body of Dan Curran's Ngosian escape pod model, seen here without the nose dome, in a cylindrical sleeve from a garden sprinkler system. My battle is never over. Dinar. Okay, moving on, we've got The High Ground, which is episode 3.12 and premiered January 29th of 1990. Dr. Crusher is kidnapped by a terrorist organization with the means and motives to destroy the Enterprise. You remember they kidnapped her, but she, being a doctor, of course, she was helping those injured. Unloved by its author, this episode remained controversial in some countries well into the 21st century. Will Wheaton poses with Brandy Sherwood. What do you guys feel about Wesley Crusher? I mean, a lot of the times, if Mr. Data can't figure it out, how come this kid can? I don't know. I love Star Trek The Next Generation, but that's probably one of my least favorite characters. On set, left to right, stunt performer Lynn Salvatore, Brent Spiner, background performer Jeffrey Deacon, director Gabriel Beaumont, Michael Dorn, and Gates McFadden. I love pictures like that. In a world where children blow up children, everyone's a threat. Alexander Devos. One of my favorite characters. I love Q. This episode is Deja Q. And this is episode 3.13. It premiered February 5th, 1990. Q seeks sanctuary on the Enterprise when stripped of his powers and forced to live as a mortal man. You remember he was kind of popped into the bridge and he was stark naked. And they just, Captain Picard didn't trust him. This exuberant episode is notable for its Emmy-nominated visuals, its well-documented music, and Star Trek's most famous meme. Love the band. This is when he got his powers back. He was so happy. Oh, very clever, Worf. Eat any good books lately? Q. That's what I love about Q too. He's got a great sense of humor. VFX supervisor Dan Curry's visualization of Q's ultimately untimely appearance, accompanying notes specific that John Delancey should be 16 feet away from the lens, and Patrick Stewart precisely 9 feet and 6 inches away. That's for obvious reasons. But they had to put him in perfect spots. Oh, good, we got more from the episode. More notes. I love the notes. Deja Q was nominated for 2 Emmy Awards, Outstanding Achievement in Special Visual Effects and Outstanding Editing for a Series. Single camera production. The storyboard on the left shows the VFX supervisor Dan Curry's method for filming the Culmarian attack on Q. Keep the camera locked in place so the effects can be overlaid, but shoot an atmospheric widescreen so that the panning shot can be created by how the widescreen film is cropped for TV. Love it. I love these little tidbits. Show you guys the notes. You can see this guy, Q. Corbin Benson is Star Trek's second ever Q. He came to visit Q, and Q is actually going to kill himself just to sacrifice himself in the shuttlecraft. We have more of the notes. Love this. This is great. I love it when they do. Guys, wouldn't it be great if they could build the U.S.S. Enterprise from the original series and do all these production notes and everything from the series? Oh, how about the first ever filming model, the one that was in that photograph on the street? How great would it be to build that ship? The actual size of the filming model, too. That's probably what he would do to see the size of the model. The facepalm that launched 1,000 memes. And also the "Shut up, Wesley." That got a lot of responses. Now this one was a really interesting episode. A matter of perspective, where this woman accused Commander Riker of ravaging her. And come on, it's Commander Riker. He can get any woman he wants, so why would he go after her? This is episode 3.14, premiered February 12th, 1990. When Commander Riker is accused of murder, witness statements are recreated on the holodeck, but no two stories are alike. You can see the husband and wife that were on the space station. Ultimately, the generator is what was destroyed. Picard's melange of clashing styles in the words of Data, as painted by Ilan Solikov. Despite a strong premise, this murder mystery was seen by some as being dead on arrival. Commander Riker, I am here to take you into custody. Chief Investigator Cragg. We all know Commander Riker was innocent and he would never do that. The lower half of this space station model would be removed for its appearance in Deep Space Nine. Oh, and that's it. We've reached the end of the magazine. And you got the beautiful Enterprise D. Okay, so that's all set. We went through the magazine. Why don't we take a look? Let's see, which one is first? We got 47, 48, 49, and 50. So let's start with issue 47. All right, let's get all the pieces out. Got to be careful with this one because I see the tape. All right, so looking at the windows or the glass pieces that are going to probably increase the light or diffuse the light better through the nacelles. We've got 2 of those. And we've got the ever-present screws. We've got EM, and let's see, these are probably BM. We seem to have 3 trillion of those. Yep, BM screws. And we got a light for the section of the Enterprise. We've got 2 lights, and this is the 4-pin clip. Okay, we have room lights that are off, as we've been doing, and room lights that will be on. And again, this is going by the series, the screenshots of the series, where all the lights are going to be placed, all the room lights that'll be on, and all the room lights that'll be off. This is the sticker that they were telling us about to hold the plastic in place. And we've got the metal part. Beautiful. Look at that Aztecing. So with these sections, we got to be pretty much close to completing the top of the primary hull. Because remember, we did the bridge, B and C decks in that area, so that's going to take up a lot of room as well. So that's everything in issue number 47. Okay, moving on to issue 48. I'll show you guys the back. Let's open it up. Then we'll take out the parts. And is that everything? Yep. Okay, so the first thing, we got the lights that are going to light the panel for the saucer section. And again, we've got 2. And we've got the 4 pins. All right, so, and we have those 2 pieces for the sides of the nacelles. And just put this in, just if anything, to keep it, and it clicks into place. So look, we already completed a step of the build. This one clips into place, the other one didn't. Unless I put the other one in wrong. We'll have to go back and reinvestigate that. The backing is in 2 separate parts for the reflective backing. And of course, it will be held in place with BM screws. Okay, we've got 2 escape pods, and we've got the tree with the room lights that are off, and half a tree with the room lights that are on. And it came out of the tray. This one is metal, and this is the one that goes towards the, if you notice, the way we've been working, the outer ones, all the outer sections on the saucer section are plastic. These go in. When you see the tabs, you could tell right away that those are the metal, and they go in, and there's only 2 screws that hold it in. I mean, it gets held in place with more, but to hold it to the frame are 2 screws, and this goes in underneath the lip. Is that everything? That's, oh, we have the DM screws, and the DM screws hold the backing, the reflective backing, onto the piece. So that's everything in this one, and this is issue number 48. All right, moving on to issue number 49. This one has plastic outer parts of the saucer section. Lots more windows, escape pods and lights, and the parts that go inside of the nacelle. Okay, so looking at these are going to go just behind the Bassard collector on the sides, help diffuse the light, and just like in the last one, we have the piece of clear tape that's going to hold them in place. And we have more BP screws. And we've got a tree of escape pods. And we've got more lights. And this one's, again, 4 pins. And we got the twin bulbs. And we've got 2 trees, 2 complete trees of the room lights that are off. And we have 1.5 trees of the room lights that are going to be on. And we've got the another outer piece of the primary hull, the top. Let's show you guys the Aztecing and the backing. You see where it goes in and guides where the holes are. And that is everything in issue number 49. And finally, we have issue number 50. All right, going right over to these, you can see this is going to illuminate the back of the warp nacelle. And this is the plastic insert that goes in, presumably to diffuse the light inside. That was everything in the first compartment. And we've got another light ribbon for the section. And you can see again, it's got the 4 pins. We've got the escape pods, a full tree, and we've got half trees of the room lights that are on and the room lights that are off. What else do we? Oh, we got the BP screws, and of course this has been holding the reflective backing and holding the windows in place. BP, the P meaning the screws going into plastic. And lastly, we have the section of the outer hull, the primary hull on the top. And you can see this is where the impulse engine is going to be. We've already installed the other one. So this would be looks like the port side. Excuse me, this is for the starboard side. We already installed the port side, I believe. And you can see the Aztecing and the line. And we get the back for it. So you can always tell when the back's, it's easy to go on because of the holes. Oh man, okay. This is how it goes. You see the holes, and it's halfway up because of the impulse engine. That's going to take up this part, and this back is going to reflect the windows and hold the escape pods in place. So that is that piece. And that was everything in issue number 50. And that, my friends, is everything that came in shipment number 13. That's right, we're already up to number 13. And we have issues 47, 48, 49, and 50. And I'm looking forward to putting this together and doing the build, and that'll be in the next video, and that'll be coming up very shortly, so watch for that video. And I thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you again in another video very soon.